Alrighty, today's video, we're going to talk about, well, not this. We're going to talk about food chain, food web, and ecological pyramid, and environmental change. Well, we have to learn in biology that a food chain, a food chain is a single pathway of consumers within the web. What's important about this is the single pathway part. It basically means a line of organisms with the providers on the bottom and the top predator on the top. For example, you can have grass, and then the rabbit eats the grass, and then the eagle eats rabbit. That will be a food chain. And another important thing to know is that, uh-huh, notice how there are arrows in the food chain, and the arrow basically means when something is eaten by something else. For example, when the carrot is pointing to the rabbit, that means the carrot is eaten by the rabbit. Same thing with fox and lion. You see how the fox is pointing to the lion? That means the fox is eaten by the lion. Okay, now we have everything we need to know about food chain. We can go down to food web. Food web is basically interconnection of food chains. It's just a lot of food chains interconnected. And here we can find an example of a food web. This will be a food web because it's not a single pathway of consumers. It's a web, all interconnected, and they all have complex relationships. And the next point is increasing biodiversity equals to the increasing complexity of food web. Increasing biodiversity can mean the increasing diversity of species in a environment. And when there are more species diversity in an environment, you're going to see, more addition of species into this web, which equals to the increasing complexity of the food web. Let's move down to ecological pyramid. It is a chart of the biomass of species, with producers on the bottom and top predator on top. So this is a bit like a food chain, but it's an ecological pyramid. And it's actually not something like this, but I can look it up. Ecological pyramid. Well, second, ecological pyramid. There we go. And right. So it's a literal pyramid, and this is a boring presentation, but this will be more fun. Here you have the provider on the bottom and consumer on the top. And what this sentence means is if you dry all these organisms, suppose you take out all the water in all of these organisms, the owl, the rabbit, the grass, and measure the mass of all of them, you will see something interesting. That there will be a lot of mass. There'll be more grass mass than there is for the rabbit mass, and there will be more rabbit mass than there will be for whatever. I suppose that's a snake. So there will be more rabbit mass than there will be for snake mass, and there will also be less owl mass than all of the animals, organisms that it consumes. So supposedly humans, we we eat cows, and when you dry, actually that wouldn't be too good. Well, let's say rabbit and grass again. There will be more grass in the rabbit environment than there will be. Uh, there will be more grass in that environment. And that's because only 10% of the energy is passed down to the next trophic level. In other words, the passing on of energy in a food chain is not very efficient. Think about it. When you eat a salad, you eat only 10% of the energy that it takes from sunlight. Or when you eat cows, you only consume 10% of the energy that the cow get from eating grass. So it's very inefficient. And that's why there needs to be more providers uh, for these top predators to survive. And I think that's going to be all I'm going to be covering: food chain, food web, and ecological pyramid. Well, have a good day, guys, and we'll see you next tomorrow.